Discussion action regarding the previously tabled request from Nestle Waters North America to enter into new contract negotiations. Let me just kind of give you a background so you understand where we're coming from on this. On September 22nd of last year, we discussed the request from Nestle to enter into new contract negotiations with them. At that time, we decided to defer that until we had a new board seated, and we also decided at that time, excuse me, we also decided at that time that we would listen to the Kearns and West public meetings that were going to be held and take input from that to help us decide how to go. So that Kearns and West has had a first meeting, and so now here we are on January 12th, and I'd like to ask Dave if you would come up, and Dave has an announcement to make, and I think this would be appropriate to do that.
Thank you very much. Dave Palais with Nestle Waters. First of all, thank you for the opportunity to address the board and to discuss both our request to open contract negotiations with you and to provide an update on our plans for meetings as we start the new year. I want to start off by saying that Nestle Waters remains very excited about the possibility of siting a new spring water bottling plant in McLeod. We're looking forward to turning the page on the previous project proposal and moving forward with discussions of our new project proposal with this board and with the community. It's our sincere hope that the tone of the discussions surrounding our project proposal and future economic development opportunities for McLeod will be a more positive one as we move forward in this process. As a company, we are committed to having a robust and productive community conversation about our project. Last summer, I sent a letter to the board expressing our interest in beginning discussions with the district to reach an agreement on new contract terms that better reflect the smaller size and reduced water use of our proposed facility, as well as the community's input on the revised project proposal. To begin these discussions, we have suggested scheduling an initial meeting with the district's representatives and our own representatives to talk about and coming to an agreement on a framework and a process for the new contract negotiations. Nestle Waters recognizes that the considerations of a new contract are going to take time, and it is our desire that the McLeod community have the opportunity to provide feedback and input along the way. We hope that together we can develop a mutually beneficial agreement that enhances the McLeod community and ensures the long-term health of the watershed and its surrounding ecosystem. Last week I was here to learn of the results of JEDI's recent survey of the McLeod business community. It's clear that there is a strong interest in developing the local economy and that the community is in an important process of determining what its economic future holds. By entering into discussions and fleshing out the likely contract terms of our project, the people of McLeod will have all of the information needed to evaluate the pros and cons of our project, together with the other options for economic development currently being discussed. I also want to be clear that we fully intend to fulfill our commitment to the McLeod community to hold a series of public meetings on our project. When we held the first of these meetings several months ago, we elected to hire a third-party facilitator in an effort to provide an open environment, as open an environment as possible for everyone to express their opinions. I think the one thing we can all agree on is that that first meeting did not go how we wanted it to. As a result, we will not be using this firm to facilitate future meetings. We are planning to have a second public meeting, and it's now been scheduled for February the 18th at 7 p.m. at the McLeod Elementary School. At this meeting, I plan to give a short presentation on our new project proposal so that everyone has a clear idea of all of the changes that have been made, and then open it up for comments and discussion and questions. In addition, Brendan O'Rourke, our Director of Natural Resources for Nestle and my boss, will be joining me for that meeting. We have decided to do this because in talking with members of the community, both for and against our project, we heard time and time again that people were confused about the purpose of these meetings. We also heard that you would prefer if these meetings were run directly by Nestle and that the community have the opportunity to give comment directly to the company, so that is what we plan to do. Part of the reason I haven't been here earlier since that meeting to make that announcement is that we were trying to respect the request of the community to have a period of time over the holidays in November and December to keep Nestle items off of the agenda. So that's one of the reasons that I've waited until this period of time to make this announcement about the subsequent meeting. The purpose of these meetings is to provide information about our current project proposal to the community and to allow the community to give us direct feedback on the various elements of the project and any other issues that people want to raise. We want to get as much information and feedback from the community as we can so that the proposed project that is ultimately put before this board for consideration is the best one for the community and for the company. I hope that the substantial revisions that you will see that we've made to our original project proposal at the meeting in February will demonstrate Nestle's openness to these discussions and willingness to act on what we hear to improve our project for everyone. Thank you.
Do you have any questions for Dave?
Not at this point.
Dave, I have one. The original contract's foundation was based on the notion that Nestle would qualify as a customer, and the price and the terms of that contract was based on the household equivalent schedule that was, broken up into the contract. Do you know if the direction you're headed in, or your company's headed in, is going to go ahead and assume that same kind of qualification by water?
We're open to any discussions. That's been our position all along since we announced to you the termination of the original contract, that anything is up to the table and open for discussion. I think we've all had 5 years of hearing people's support and opposition to the original contract, where people had concerns and wanted to see some changes. We've obviously given consideration to those, and we're open to discussions. That's the purpose of our desire to open discussions and negotiations with you, to hear where the board would like to approach it. See if you have alternative ideas. We may have some alternative ideas. That's the purpose of trying to put some meat on the bones of the contract and come to some agreement on new terms.
Any other questions for Dave?
Yeah, I'm thinking about the...
There's a question for me.
when you have the meetings, in McLeod, there's a lot of people who just don't go to meetings. Do you have another way of, informing people of what project is going to be in the newspaper?
As far as announcing the meeting?
As far as the findings and things that are happening within the meeting, so that other people in the community have that opportunity to hear that information?
We'll have several ways of doing that. One is we're in the process of updating our website, and I understand that McLeod now has high-speed internet. So we will be updating the website, especially after each meeting, to provide some summary of what occurred at the meeting. I will be coming in front of the board at some opportunity. It may not be the first board meeting after one of our public meetings, it may be the second one, so that we have a chance to digest some of the information that we heard, and I can prepare a summary that I can present to the board on the prior meeting. And we're open to any other ideas. If people don't attend meeting, it's hard for me to propose that I would have another smaller meeting somewhere else if people don't attend meetings, but I'm open to any other recommendations that you as community members might feel are the best ways to get information out to the public.
I thought that when you did your flyers that you kept very short and you mailed, that you did a full coverage, that was very effective to reach your community.
Okay,
that
good.
Did not.
Thank you.
The Watershed Council did the same thing, where you mail to the community, but it's very effective for reaching your community members because as long as they're not long, your community tends to read those. That's where I hear a lot of input that people are telling me, well, that they got information from. They discussed that, of course, at the post office. We hear both sides and everything. That's what they reference.
And is that business development? Is it
both sides of it, you know, from the Watershed Council when they do mailings and from Nestle. When a mailing would go out, I would hear from both sides that, you know, people would talk about mailings.
Thank you, that's a
And
great
information.
suggestion. And if anyone has other suggestions, we're definitely open for those.
Okay, do you have any other questions for Dave?
Right,
Okay.
so,
Dave, we'll let you sit down for a little bit, and the board's going to discuss this.